Welcome in, everybody. Happy Sunday Fun Day. Welcome to the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. I am one half of your host and virtual bartender, Mr. Nick Teodoro. Joining me, as always, is my tag team partner in life, my wife, Miss Nicole. Nicole, what are you having?
Yeah, the usual Tito's, crayon, orange juice. Mr. Nick, you need to tell the people what you're drinking and our three things for the show are.
Mr. Nick is drinking his red wine Cabernet J-Lore as usual, 7 Oaks. Well, we are covering WWE Survivor Series. We're recapping it. So, our three takeaways: CM Punk saves the OG Bloodline, Team Rhea survives WarGames, and Shinsuke Nakamura is the new WWE United States Champion. It's Sunday, December 1st, 2024, in a special Survivor Series edition of the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. Welcome back in, everybody. Again, happy Sunday Fun Day. If you're new here, welcome in. Hit the old like and subscribe. If you are a regular, we love having you back. Nikki,
yes.
We are discussing it. Survivor Series. Say it with me.
WarGames.
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 A lot to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Only 5 matches, but a lot happened. We're not going to go match by match. We're going to cover our big 3 events, of the evening. But Nikki, overall, what was your thoughts on Survivor Series and your takeaways?
It was a good one. I'm loving these early start times. 6 o'clock, yes, please, all day. 5-match card. It was like a breeze to watch. Sometimes pay-per-views looking at you, AEW, are just like, oh my god, we got 4 more matches to go. But this was it was so good to watch. I think it was well paced. I think the match order made sense. Again, obviously starting with women's, ending with the men's, having the 3 title matches in between. I think it was all around good affair.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought we kind of predicted a lot of the similarities of what we expected, the women to open, the men to close. But a little bit of surprises along the way, which we will get to shortly. But we look at it as we just recap from our predictions. Nikki and I, unfortunately, basically tied, which somehow seems to be happening the last few of these.
Yeah.
So no champion is crowned for our picks this time around. So we both went 3-2 on the evening with differences in the Bloodline, in the WarGames matches.
Yeah.
So it's going to be real interesting. Well, I guess we'll have to wait till Saturday night's main event to now crown a champion of WWE predictions, Nikki. But overall, yeah, I thought it was a good show. Really, really liked it. Again, I know there was spots where it was a little
messy.
Lull in the action, messy, not great.
WarGames match, not everything can be as smooth and clean. And looking at you, Nia Jax, as per usual.
Yeah, and well, we will get into that shortly. But if you missed it, let's get you to some of the highlights from WarGames yesterday.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields, the bodies burning. Machine keeps turning, death and hatred to mankind, poison in their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah.
Nikki, we start with the opening match of the evening, the Women's War Games.
Yes.
Which it was funny because you told me that you thought it would take forever for the.
Oh, because all 10 of them got an entrance.
Yeah. Well, no. Technically, Liv did not get. Raquel didn't get her own entrance. She came out with Liv, so they came out as a duo. So to be fair.
But Bianca's like when she opened it took like forever. Like they did like her whole entrance. You could tell she was still and she does her thing, and I felt like she was just like, all right, like let's wrap this.
Yeah, it was a lot. Because again, I don't know. I don't think her entrance is anything special or any big deal. But the biggest entrance, obviously, we'll talk about it was Rhea, and just how she was presented, and we're gonna get into that very shortly. But if you missed it, let's catch you up on the Women's War Games. So, Nikki, Team Rhea, I'm calling it Team Rhea, because it looked like it might have been Bianca's team, but at one point in time, but I'm calling it Team Rhea, takes Women's War Games. Take us through your thoughts about the Women's War Games match, how we got there, what do you like, what do you hate?
Shout out to Io Sky, who's been in every single Women's War Game match on NXT and Maine. She's a champion, obviously. Her trash can spot, as always. I love how they gave her like a strap to carry it up with her. In the press conference, how she talked about it. They're like, "Oh, what do you think?" And she basically was like, "Oh, I just put it on my head and I jump."
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's probably horrifying. And I did say that if Tiffy does something off the top, it would be my big Nick energy moment. And I think this was so beautiful how they had Io in her trash can, and then Tiffy went up top, and she didn't do the moonsault, but she did a beautiful swanton.
Yes, she did do. Hold on, I do have it. Give me 1 second. I gotta find all my stuff. You're a little ahead of me.
Well, you asked what my thoughts were.
I know. Well, you got a lot of thoughts, but actually, I don't have the swanton on this one. So I do have. Nope. Oh yeah, 10. Here we go. Slide number 10. We'll get to it. But yeah, I again, that was a very big moment in the match. There was a lot that went on and went into it. They were slightly off in that spot, but it was a dangerous spot to do. In general, I don't know how you can
to coordinate someone that's 2 rings away from you. How many feet in the air?
Yeah,
camera then.
It's not like, to me, to do that, like for Io to do that, like you're doing it blind. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're trusting the ladies down there to catch you.
Yeah. So Nikki is calling this Io Sky, Tiffany Stratton. We'll put it together.
Combo, because I did say if Tiffany did something off the top of the cage, I would make it my big Nick energy moment. And just the two of them doing it, I'm still saying in stereo. I think it was beautiful, and I think she has a very beautiful the swanton that she did. It's just like she reminds me of like when Sami Zayn does the jump out of the ring at the last second he flips. I felt like it's the same with her at the very last second she turns over. It's so cool to watch.
Actually, wait, that's the wrong one. I do have it. I have the split.
Yeah.
At least a split. There you go. There's your swanton.
Yeah, it's just like at the very last second, it's like, ugh. I don't know. I love Tiffy, and they did do her will she won't she cash in spot when she came in and put the trash can in the ring. I think I said it to you. It's like the briefcase is in there. She very gingerly. Everyone kind of throws stuff in or rolls it in. It was very like, I'm putting this here for a very specific reason, and we'll get to that later.
I mean, yeah, I thought the cash. I said the briefcase was going to be under the ring somehow. She was going to find a way to, like, because you're not going to bring it. She wasn't going to bring it out with her.
Yeah, so
I just knew.
Yeah.
to keep the allure alive of the intrigue of whether will she, won't she. You figured that would kind of come about.
Yeah, and I think it's very clever to put it in the garbage can. I love how Nia and Liv are both down. She gets the briefcase out, and she's like, "Who should I cash this on?" And Raquel's like, "Don't do this. Like, what are you doing?" And then Io comes in with the fire signature to cause chaos, so she doesn't cash in. And during that, then Rhea handcuffs Raquel to the top rope.
Right, which eliminates Raquel from this whole match. She basically, I don't think she ever...
She got the cuff to go down the rope. She did hit a clothesline or something, but she was basically relegated to that corner.
Yeah, and oh my gosh. So, but to me, the person at this match, at the end of this match, who ends up looking the strongest, as always, is Rhea Ripley. First off, look at I want to talk about this. This mask is insane, which it's crazy that she takes it off at the end of it, because I feel like they could have used this for a while and sold it and whatever.
Yeah, but basically when Liv comes in, then she rips it off, and she has the more face paint on underneath.
Yeah, she has the eyeliner, and she has the Furiosa. The Furiosa.
Yeah, and she has the red splash over the eye that's messed up.
Yeah, I think, to me, she looked incredible. She came out. The mask reminds me a little bit of a hybrid. I think I told you this last night. It's a hybrid between Stephanie Vicaire and the Fiend. I really think that to me was really kind of the inspiration, because the writing on the side of it was very fiendish. There's always some meaning to it. So no, I really, really love that component of it. The other thing is, there was a couple cool spots with the collider, power bombs, Raquel and Nia. At one point in time, I thought looked really cool. To me, also the double teams between Rhea, sorry, not Rhea, Tiffany Stratton and Nia led me to believe that they could be women's tag team champions. And now with the Jade Cargill injury happening, could that be something that we could see?
Supposed injury.
Yeah, but it's a kayfabe.
Who you talk to, I feel like there's 3 to 4 different rumblings out there. But I know you said that last night, that they had so many in tandem moves or set up moves so the other person can hit something or do something, and then
it was sequenced nicely. It had a nice flow to it. Mm-hmm. So to me, I don't know if there's a future. Again, if you're gonna she tried to cash it in, they've teased the cash in forever. Why not make them as dominant as a tag team champions for a little bit, and then extend it out till WrestleMania season if you want, through WrestleMania, right? Because she has to cash it in before Money in the Bank next year. So why not?
That's till June. Yeah.
Why not keep that going until Mania or longer, and make her look stronger, Nia look stronger, because she's a women's tag team champion. Because I thought they were going to do it with Liv and Raquel 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and they didn't. So I don't know. I just think that there's some validity to it, that there might, the women's, again, Jade and Bianca have been running roughshod anyhow. So it could be a feasible avenue for them to go down just for the next 3 to 5 months, is all I'm saying. I don't know. Let me know in the chat below if you think that that's a feasible avenue to go down. Would you want to see Nia and Tiffany Stratton? And I know Nia got crapped on a lot. You touched upon it earlier with some of the botches, the Hulk Hogan-esque chair shots.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I still think there's a lot left to be told in that story between Nia and Tiffany Stratton.
I think that we should have done it earlier, maybe before she got the briefcase, or before she teased. There's been so many teases about her cashing. I don't know if doing a tag team run is kind of far out of reach at this point. I do want to circle back to Rhea. You had that photo up, and people I saw online called her Thanos. It's that Thanos, again, for Marvel people out there, when she the one part in what is it, Endgame or whatever it is, that they're all on whatever, and all the Avengers kind of have to have like an arm or a leg, and what's her face Mantis is on his head trying to calm him down. So it's like all the Avengers have to hold him down, and then it's at one point like all four of them are holding Rhea.
Oh, the baseball bat one?
Yeah, the baseball bat, and then like Liv is gonna do something. So it takes the whole group to just to hold her, to keep her down.
Yeah, they said it's. I know. A lot of the internet is up in arms over this because they feel it's very much a John Cena-esque booking, like they're making her a superhero type. I get it. I didn't see anything. I understand like the bat like to the stomach. Like, it is a lethal weapon in wrestling, especially like when you talk about like Sting and the people who used it. But this is WarGames, so like
it's not like this was like the very beginning of the WarGames starting. You still had like another 15 minutes to the match. Right, give or take. But no, I think it makes her look good, and then to finally take out Liv. Like they had to take out everybody. You had to handcuff her right hand lady, and then the riptide through the table for the 1, 2, 3.
Right, yeah, like it does, and then which again, Liv seems to be taking crazy bumps, and she does a great code breaker. I think that I could argue that should be her finisher. Better than the what's called the Oblivion.
It's easier to sell or hit, but every time she hit the code breaker last night, you're like, I love her code breaker. I love her code breaker.
Yeah, because I guess she did it like 4 times.
Yeah, well,
but it's good. It's good. I don't know. It's tough because like again, she jumps. She's a shorter girl, so like she like so for that like again like you're gonna come up to people's like chest and below like level, so like that's a good move for everything that she does, like for her repertoire.
I don't know if it was her match with Becky earlier this year. It was was it going into SummerSlam? Because I made the comment that I think maybe she does too many code breakers. But I think in this WarGame match, hitting it on other like multiple people made sense. But if her hitting 4 code breakers on a one-on-one match gets a little much. Again, she hits it great. I just think something maybe she has to use more sparingly in a one-on-one deal. Yeah,
I think she's just building a lot of her repertoire, if you will.
But I think this was the story around Rhea, Liv, Nia, Tiffy. Like, we didn't talk about Candice. We didn't talk about Bianca. Like, we didn't talk about Bayley. I don't know where this really leaves them post Survivor Series. I know like Bayley's in the tournament.
Yeah.
Like
again, like for all the
birthday Naomi. She came out in her little birthday hat.
I know, so I thought it was kind of lame.
It's your birthday, you do what you want. I'm a full believer in it's your birthday, do whatever you want. But again, you have the big stars, the big standouts, but like I don't know, a lot of the participants post this and like I don't like poor Candice.
Yeah. Well, she looked good too. I mean, she took a lot of big bumps.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
She did her tornado DDT, which looked really fantastic.
Yeah. But then, like big story beats wise, I feel like it's revolved more around those 4 than the rest.
Yeah, I mean, everything seems to revolve around Rhea Liv.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to give everybody else the rub on it. But I don't know. What did you all think of the women's WarGames match? Did you like it? Did you think it was How do you rate it compared to the other ones? Let us know in the comments below. We want to hear from all of you. But I feel like you have more.
No, I said to you last night, I think it's one of the ones I think was booked. Like, I don't know. I was like, oh, was this my favorite women's WarGame match? And then you're like, what are the other women's WarGame matches? And I was like,
yeah, it's like nothing stands out for me just yet either. Same thing with like
again, besides Io jumping off the top with her bin every time.
Yeah, well, I know you love that. Who doesn't? But Nikki, let's move along to our second takeaway, of the evening, where we have a new champion.
Shocked.
Shinsuke Nakamura. wins the United States title for the third time, which surprised me. I didn't realize he won.
Yeah, 2017, 2018, and now. Remember, because I was telling you, it was like, I think this is a 2017 run. He was doing that, like, United States with Nakamura.
Yes. Yeah, you were telling me about that.
I'm not sure about his 2018 run, but I'm trying to think if all his reigns were why he was heel.
Probably. Yeah, I think so. I think all of it, and all of his bigger moments when he challenged AJ, he was a heel with the whole blow stuff. But yeah, how do you feel about Nakamura winning the U.S. title? Because it could be a very controversial booking decision.
I'm not, and that's the thing. Like Nakamura is one of the greatest, and I think, again, going back and watching his like New Japan stuff, like I just feel like maybe early day or NXT Nakamura was phenomenal. I don't know how I feel about his main roster run. Again, I did not like that program with him and AJ was just dick shots. I don't care. Like, you're supposed to be the two top most amazing wrestlers, and you're just hitting each other in the deck. Like, I don't care. Like, you're supposed to wrestle. I love this because again, then he would come back and he would like go after a champion for like he had that weird thing with Cody for like a month or two last Christmas. Remember that weird like Nightmare Before Christmas poem that he did?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like around this time last year. But he comes back, he feuds with somebody, and he loses, and he leaves for another 6 months. So, and like if he's here to stay, then I want to see a belt on him again. Like I think his presentation looked phenomenal. He came out in like that samurai mask thing looked awesome.
Yeah.
I love the new music.
That's
the blood red moon behind it when he comes out. The redo of his NXT music. Like I think he looks like a champion. I just now need you, not you personally, but WWE to treat him like a champion.
all right. I'll treat him like a champion. Damn it! But I mean, yeah, I love the whole samurai gimmick or evil samurai, whatever they called him something samurai, but I can't remember what it was.
Wayward?
Maybe I don't know. When he first came back,
Corey said it.
Corey called him something, and I'm blanking on what it was. It was something samurai, but I think it was with an S because they love alliteration. But yeah, like to me, his presentation, he looked great, and I was just like, oh man, he came out looking cool as hell. Like this is gonna be a great character, but he's gonna lose, and he didn't. And I was like, holy shit. Couple things, because he comes back, it's a 3-week build. Not even. So there's a lot of questions around the build. And, you know, does he have enough momentum? He didn't even wrestle a single match, right? Does he have enough momentum to win the U.S. title from a guy who's been busting his ass for the last year and a half, and they finally put a singles belt on him just to take it away with someone who has little to no momentum, seemingly. Now, that being said, I don't hate the idea of putting it on Nakamura and allowing this character to grow a little bit with him. There are questions. I could totally see that, but again, I don't know that you need to have some adversity for LA Knight. Maybe he stays in the mid card for a little bit longer, and develops a better feud with Nakamura to win it back or something along those lines to keep the mid card super strong for WrestleMania season.
Yeah, I think that's the issue that we've talked about on the show is that like, where's the SmackDown mid card? I don't care about Mello. I don't care about Andrade. They had that 7 series that was annoying, and then LA Knight won the 7th thing, and then Escobar. It's just like I'm hoping that Shinsuke kind of injects some energy, some freshness, something new into that mid card. And again, I necessarily kind of disagree with you. Like, oh, where's his momentum? I'm like, he's Shinsuke Nakamura. And then I did like that he beat him with 1 Kinshasa.
Yes.
It's like, how dominant that was a sacred move for a very long time in NXT.
So the other thing about that is, like, again, this match to me, we were talking about because they have the 2 rings, and this was there's 2 singles matches. So no.
Oh, 2. Sorry, 3 belts.
Math is hard. So there was 2 singles matches, and with the 2 rings, I really wanted to see how these wrestlers used that middle part of the ring or the extra ring. Because, like, I remember watching the old WCW WarGames ones, like, guys, the cruiserweights like Rey Mysterio would use both rings in their matches, and it would be so cool to see. So, ironically, here we are, not completely different wrestler, but in the finish of this match, you see the steel plating of the ring being used, and that's how ultimately LA Knight loses his title. So, I mean, I don't know. It just, like, the presentation, everything with Nakamura looked great. So I'm not, like, super duper upset. But when I look at, and when I think of my thoughts for, like, LA Knight and his title run, it's just like, what did he do? He talked about how he was going to make it like the workhorse title again since Logan Paul was never around. And right now, I can't think of anything that he did versus Logan Paul's title defenses looking better. Like, right now, it looks pretty bad.
I believe I read that in the 100, I think it was about 110, maybe around there. He only defended it 8 times. And I feel like it was, again, Andrade, Carmelo, with Escobar. I'm like, your mid-card can't be 4 guys that you just kind of, that no one cares about.
It's true. Josh, the voice, new caller, friend of the show, podcaster. Happy Sunday fun day. He said, LA Knight's not the champ. Yeah. And they said, this will be the match. This match was fantastic. And finally, yeah, it's gone. Lameness is gone. Not a fan. Not a fan of LA Knight.
I'm also I'd be okay with LA Knight maybe being off TV for a few weeks and then coming back and then doing something. Because I am an LA Knight fan, but I do feel that, like, I feel like they should have pulled the trigger on him earlier than they did. As much as I do, in hindsight, obviously 2020, that run with Priest and the briefcase and his champion run, love in hindsight. Again, I was not happy that it wasn't LA Knight. I'm just worried they didn't pull a trigger and he kind of lost his momentum. So maybe, again, I can't miss you if you don't leave. So maybe him being off TV for a little bit and comes back something fresh, something different. Maybe he needs that. Again, I think that SmackDown mid-card needs something different.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he gets elevated to the main event level scene. I don't know exactly, but where do you all want to see LA Knight next? I don't mind him
going to, like, Raw and having a program with Gunther.
Josh likes him as a chaser, not a champ. Yeah. I mean, it's tough to be over as a face, and he's really over as a face. And it's like that Daniel Bryan thing, and like the Sami Zayn from last year. Like, he could put over a lot of other people along the way. So to me, yeah, I think ultimately it's not the worst thing to have, LA Knight in this situation dropping the belt, but I don't know. Let us know in the chat below. But I thought it was a good match, but just shocking because, like, we were like kind of eating dinner, dozing off a little bit, and I'm like, not your bathroom break match, but we're like, we probably predicted it. And then it was like,
we cooked dinner during it.
Yeah, and it was like Kinshasa, 1, 2, 3. Oh man. So I don't know. Biggest shock of the night, definitely, for sure, had to have been this match. So
I feel like when we were predicting this, and I talked about it last time when we were watching it, it's like, I'm not mad at any of, like, if obviously we were wrong, and I'm not mad at it. I'm interested to see where this goes, for sure.
For sure. Well, Nikki, let's move into let's move along. We'll touch upon it because I'm calling this more the mid-card section, where both, I guess we'll get into the Braun Breaker first, but basically Braun Breaker retains his Intercontinental title. And Gunther also retains his World Heavyweight title. Your thoughts on, I guess, either match first. We can kind of throw them together.
In order. The triple threat that I keep. I really like this match, and I think I go back and forth between this match and then the IC one would be my match of the night, to be honest. I think it was hard hitting. Everyone had got their spots in. I don't think anyone looked weak or bad, and I really do love Kaiser. I hope he does get a push, and I one day would like to see him with this belt. And the shots with the shillelagh, they're I don't know if it's WWE or Sheamus posted afterwards. Like Sheamus's back and arms were messed up. Again, Braun Breaker looks like a star. I love in the pre-show he did the interview and he was wearing a Scott Steiner shirt, and he started. I'm not gonna do this right. The infamous promo that Scott
Steiner math.
Yeah, but he was like, the beginning was like, oh, not all men are created equal. I believe that's how it starts, and that's how he started off his. Which would go because he was doing the math of the triple threat and blah blah blah.
Yeah, so you have 140% chance
so
of
people
losing.
on the internet were like, "Would it be crazy if he cut that promo like word for word?" But I think it was a great nod and a wink to wear the shirt to say not all men are created equal, and then do his own. I love, and I think this was in the news that they're kind of making him a tweensies. I love that his promo was kind of like I would say baby face.
Oh, Braun, yeah.
And then you go, where my dogs at, or whatever he says, and they all bark.
And there's some dogs in Vancouver.
Yeah, and like that. And then he gets into the ring, and then he's like a monster. So I really like that for him. And I do, as much as I do love Kaiser, I think he's going to have this belt for a while. I know we've talked about at length should he have lost in the first place to Jay. But again, fun match.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Again, super athletic guys that you're going to see. Like, you know what to expect. Like, hard hitting. Anytime Sheamus is going to be in a match, it's going to be hard hitting. Braun Breaker's athleticism is just unreal, off the chart. He's one of those in terms of physical ability, like generationally. He's once every 10-year talents. Like, I think you look at Roman was like that. Like, I know name redacted, Brock Lesnar was like that. Like, Bobby Lashley to some extent is like that, right? Like, there's some guys that I think just have it. They have the look and they have the charisma and the star power, and he has it, and he's on his way. And Kaiser had a good showing as well. I mean, I don't know what the ceiling is for Kaiser on the main roster. So, like, I just don't, like, he could be an Intercontinental champion. I could see him being a mid-card champion, but I just don't know, like, if he because of his character, so much of a coattail guy. I know he's trying to be off on his own now, but like a coattail guy to Gunther, that worries me, because he's not, like, I know he's great in the ring, but he's very, like, looks wise, he's very average. You know, he's shredded. Don't get me wrong. I would love that about it like that, but he's very comparatively to everyone else. Like, I don't know that he's gonna like get through. Like, he cuts good promos though. He's very good at that, and like kind of reminds me of, I think he's gonna be better than Aiden English was for oh my gosh, from not Miro now, Rusev in WWE. But
Rusev Day, how dare you?
Oh, how dare you?
Of all days. Day, forget that.
But yeah, Josh saying Ludwig really showed why he's main roster guy. Yeah, no, I think he's definitely a main roster guy. I just don't know that, like, singles.
No, I think it'd be if they changed up his game. Like, I don't, because when he does Gunther promos, his accent comes out very thick. But then he was doing the interview backstage, and it wasn't as like hard. So I wonder if we I don't know. I want to hear how he talks to Tiffany. He's that voice. Yeah, who doesn't know, Ludwig and Tiffany are dating in real life, and I love that for them. I don't know. I do think he'd probably, again, agree. Josh, main roster for sure. I think it'd be interesting because apparently rumors is they want to give him a push. So maybe I would love, again, to see him and Gunther have a program.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Then I don't know. I guess we can bleed into the next.
Yeah.
I don't know if this run, making him look a little, I don't want to say weak, but looking a little weak, looking a little scared, looking a little vulnerable, and then being mad that Finn interfered, are they slowly turning Gunther face? And then I want face Gunther versus heel Kaiser in a program.
That wouldn't be. I mean, I could see Kaiser turning on him, and it could get Kaiser over a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he did beat up. And now I thought more along the lines of maybe the world title is now a triple threat at not Saturday night's main event. They'll probably won't put both belts on the line, but maybe Royal Rumble. It's a triple threat between Finn, Gunther, and Priest. Because, spoiler alert, not really spoiler alert, if you watched, Finn Balor reared his ugly head again, and I said it on our show that I expected some nefarious activities to happen in this match, and sure enough, Balor shows up, perfect spot placement for the coup de grace, throws Priest back in the ring. Eventually, Priest gets hit with the sleeper, passes out, and Gunther retains. So I want Finn Priest to be around the world title because Judgment Day was so strong and looked so good with these two and Rhea at the top. Like, WrestleMania should probably have, if they could stretch it out, it's gonna be tough. Like Finn Priest for the world title, I would totally be down for that. Because you could still do Rollins Punk if you want to do that standalone match at WrestleMania night 1 or 2. Yeah, exactly. So you could put this around the world title. This is one of the best. The top 2 storylines are Bloodline and the Judgment Day, the Liv Morgan, Dom Mysterio, Rhea stuff. So to me, it makes the most sense to make it a triple threat at the Rumble. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Maybe.
Yeah, because then when he sees Finn, he hits him with a drop kick, right? Or he
hits him with like a big boot.
Yeah, he did something.
He didn't use his Dracula or his Tyrannosaurus drop kick.
And I love this is the 3rd match in a row he wins with the choke out. And I love that for a hot second he had the Kimura in.
Yeah.
I like
the Kimura, and then he also had the triangle, right? Or was that?
No, I think didn't Priest hit the triangle.
Yeah, Priest.
Because that's when because they call him the bisexual Undertaker. That he hit Hell's Gate, right? Hell's Gate.
Yeah, because Hell's Gate is the triangle. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to be. I don't want the belt quite off Gunther yet, but again, it's a long road to Mania, baby. But yeah, no, I would love. I don't want to be mad at
Josh is asking, is how do we get the? Okay, he's got a couple questions. So, how did they end the Finn and Priest story, though? Well, I think you have to have Priest win, right? He's the face. He's the one who got screwed over twice. Well, 3 times by this guy.
Mania again. He comes out as the demon again, and a priest has to defeat the demon.
I don't like that.
I mean, he's got to get some because his last 2 demons.
Nikki, I don't know.
Oh,
you're not gonna like this because I don't like your story. I don't like your creative.
Oh,
neither does The Rock.
From the bottom of my heart, man to man, fuck your story.
Not man to man, but
you call me a man booking, whatever.
I identify as the head booker here.
Whatever. Moving on.
I don't like it. I don't know. I just think because I don't like Demon Finn Balor. That's a face thing. I don't like Demon Finn Balor doing anything.
But it's not though.
It should be.
Him and Edge were in the cage, and again, that match got ruined because he got cut, and they had to stop the match for a little bit. And then the other stupid match he had with name redacted, and then the ring magically broke and he fell, and then they did that weird dun dun, and he's like flopping like a fish. I think maybe the demon again. I don't think he's gonna win, but maybe needs some redemption because he's got done dirty the last 2 times.
We
again with Nakamura, maybe with Finn, maybe I'm just stuck in black and gold NXT glory days.
I think you are. I don't know. Tell her in the comments below that she is. But let us know. The 2 titles retained. What do you think? Did we miss anything with those 2 retaining at Survivor Series? Is there more to the story that you want to see or that should have been told? Let us know. But Nikki, let's get into our main event. We've been waiting for a long time for this, for WarGames. And we finally got it. OG Bloodline versus the new Bloodline. Would the alliances stand up, or would all of them leave as individuals and somebody turn? Well, craziness happened, but it seemed like everyone stayed allies for long enough. But let's see how we got there.
Why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? Been spending most their lives living in the gangster's paradise. Been spending most their lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most our lives living in the gangster's paradise.
All right, Nikki. The Bloodline, the OG Bloodline.
Which I predicted correctly.
Okay, well, take a victory lap.
I will.
But
Watch me go.
so, Nikki, let's get to it. The men's games.
War games.
Okay.
What are your thoughts? What did you like? Dislike?
Again, it's a lot of intrigue, kind of on both sides. There was a lot of like who was gonna go in, and like we were trying to predict who was coming out next, and there was a lot of stuff. Like Solo was, dictating who went and when, and then like Roman stopped Punk going in, and then Sammy went in. It was a lot of.
Well, there's the inner.
Can they coexist?
Well, it's that's the narrative, right? Like the whole thing was kind of like the Cody thing from what was it, like a month ago.
Yeah.
And like, but what's interesting is like when I thought about it again this morning, I was like, oh, like I'm putting together the pictures and packages. I was like, I don't remember because I didn't rewatch it. I don't know if you did, but if Solo's the first one, right? Because they had the advantage was for the new Bloodline, right? So Solo picked, and remember he cut off Camacho?
Yeah, because I thought it was going to be like the four brothers would be the first four in.
Right. And yeah, and that's what we thought. And he cuts him off, and then that happens, and then
Reed comes out.
Yeah, Rhea for Reed, which we're like, okay, and it's like kind of drama, but then Roman eventually cuts off Punk for Sammy, which I don't know if it's just a retaliatory thing because it's like the tribal chief, like I call the shots type deal, or what. But it laid and planted more of the seeds of dissension throughout.
Because again, it was the thing like on SmackDown, he's like, "Oh, I don't trust you,"
right?
And he trusts Sammy because again, it's like his family's in there, who I don't trust. Punk, I'm going to send in Sammy, who I trust to go help. And I don't think you have it, but it was all over the internet today. They're both leaning. It's Punk and Roman in the cage, just the two of them. They're both like leaning on the cage and like giving each other side eye. But there's a lot of side eye, like the whole every time they pan back to the shark cages, and they're just like side eyeing each other the whole time. Well,
so it leads to he cuts off Punk earlier, and then Punk. Again, to plant the seeds of deception or dissension too, maybe deception too. Punk then wants to be the fourth person in, so he cuts off Roman.
He like kind of pushes, like kind of shoulder tackles him to get out first.
So Punk gets out, opens his infamous toolbox, beats up the Bloodline for a little bit, gets hot for a little bit, and then eventually fifth man enters. Solo comes in, and Solo. Which I thought this was great because it's been done before. It's an old school thing, but like locks up the cell so that they can beat the crap out of
have the 5-on-4 advantage.
Yeah, the 5-on-4 advantage for as long as possible. So ultimately, that leads to Roman scaling the cage,
which I'm a little
like
surprised.
A Spider-Man.
I'm surprised. I was like, Heyman's going to come down with some bolt cutters. I didn't really expect Roman to climb up and then in. I don't know. I just feel like that, because we didn't want to talk about like when Tama went in there and he's crawling all over it, doing his.
Oh yeah, that was and he was climbing along the cage. That was
so that feels like a more like I don't know, like
which also both right hand men opened the match. Was that right?
Yes.
So like that was just another like the storytelling in this match throughout of like who opened the match, right? Like the two right hand men opened the match because they have to be the first person in. The Punk Roman dynamic of again who Roman shutting him out and not letting him come in first before Sammy. All that is just intertwined in the whole match, and that's what makes a great match to me. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off a little bit there.
Yeah. So then he actually crawls up and crawls in, and then there's like the stare down, like don't know who to trust, and then Paul Heyman comes out, and he's like, no, like what did he say? Like you gotta trust each other. You gotta work together because something. This is what happens when I don't take like word for word notes anymore.
It's WarGames. He basically says you have to work together. No, you make each other better. He's like, you make each other better, and that's what you need to do here.
It's WarGames. And then magically Paul Heyman says WarGames, and then the bell keeper's like ding 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 ding. So then you start your WarGames.
Which again, this is like, and what's great about this is the evolution of like, I know there's some things that are like kind of campy, hokey, of like the sports entertainment, philosophy of like WWE's brought in writers, they brought in a lot of great staff that are, in Hollywood that come out and they've made the cinematography more about that and the storytelling more about that. And that's what's so great. And this is one of the moments that the spillover of what they've done in the last 10, 15, 20 years in production. What's that?
I want to go 20 years ago.
I mean, well, no, I think so. I think because there's a lot of evolution in everything that they've done of bringing in, like we're talking about till 2000s. Like they've brought in writers from Hollywood to do different things. So like you need that production value. And this is exactly like getting those shots at the right moments, making those moments. This was it. And it started the match, started the WarGames moment. And you just knew like Heyman had to play a critical role. And like, that's the role that a great manager should play. I don't know. To me, it was incredible. So then eventually it becomes 5-on-5. They're just battling it out, right? The two big factors in this match, just like in the women's match, it was Raquel and Nia on the heel side of things. Here, it's going to be Jacob and Bronson. How are Jacob and Bronson going to be taken out? Because those are the true X factors in this whole match. Ultimately, in a sign or a show of solidarity, let's just say, Bronson Reed goes for what I called on Friday. You didn't believe me.
I said he would kill somebody.
He almost did.
Killed himself.
Bronson Reed goes for a tsunami off the top of the cage. And at the last minute, CM Punk pulls Roman Reigns out. And Bronson Reed goes towering through the table, crashing through the table. And he is absolutely out. And to me, I don't care who you are. I don't care he didn't hit the move on anybody. For our PLEs, our pay-per-view reviews, we have our Big Nick energy moments. To me, a guy that's 350 pounds, 400 pounds, coming off the top of the cage like that, going through a table, that's a Big Nick energy moment. And I'm stamping it. I'm not the only one. Josh saying, do you see Reed's ankle in that jump from the top? His ankle looked like it shattered. It's so dangerous. Like I wonder if it's probably going to keep him out for a little bit and just like be a way for them to write him off as like he's still a monster. They do this with a lot of the big guys, like Braun Strowman. Big Show was like that for years. Mark Henry, like where they kind of just like bring him around, like, and they write him off with some crazy big move because no one can beat them up. Or, it's rare that someone beats them up.
Then are you completely scrapping his feud program with Seth? If you're writing Bronson off with this?
Not necessarily. You could write him up for a little bit, maybe bring him back for Rumble and do a blow off then. I'm not sure. I just think I wouldn't be.
I don't know. I have some theories about it. We can get to that. I don't know if it's one of your questions later, but I'll slip it.
Well, I'll get to it shortly. And we're going to get to the phone shortly. We're about to open up the phone lines after this segment, so stay with us. But ultimately, Bronson Reed's out, but there's still one more enforcer to get rid of. We get over Jacob Fatu, who gets taken out by Jimmy Uso when Uso splashed. So both tables that were in the ring are, set up throughout the match. Eventually get destroyed because what always gets set up always gets destroyed. And it leaves Solo all by his lonesome in a very, which I thought was awesome. Like, I don't know. I haven't watched, I can't remember too many of the endings of the War Games, but like, I love the idea of like, especially because it's like gang warfare, like that idea of like, now all your guys have just been beat. Like, all your guys' asses are kicked. Now you're the leader and you're about to just get destroyed. And like Roman gives him the opportunity to acknowledge him basically. And doesn't happen, which I love because I love Solo not wanting to be a cowardly heel in this moment.
Yeah. He goes and tries to hit Roman with the spike, which leads to all the finishes.
Right. So he gets everyone's finishes. Ultimately, Roman gets the final pin. And that's where we leave us with the old bloodline taking down the new bloodline. So my question is, first off, we know he didn't do this for free. What's CM Punk's favor?
Can I backtrack 30 seconds?
Okay, sure. I'll take a question off.
It says when Jimmy did the splash off the top that he broke a big toe or a toe for doing that. And I've broken my toe multiple times.
Oh, Jimmy, maybe not Bronson.
I think it's two different things. I think what Josh's saying, like, he messed up his ankle, and then Corey kept calling him Big Jim, and I don't like it. But Jimmy broke it. They said at the press conference he broke his toe. Like, you see, like, they help, Sammy and Jay help him up.
Yes.
So
yeah.
But also, I was waiting, because I said this to you, like, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Like, we don't watch them walk out of the cage and walk up the ramp to pose. I'm waiting for someone to come out. I'm waiting for Hikaleo. I'm waiting for, whatever, like, no. What's the Anawahi that they
Lance. Yeah, Lance.
I was thinking Lance, but that didn't sound right in my brain when it came out. I was like, it's Punk, it's like waiting for something to happen. You just see like Heyman hug everybody, and that leads into your next thing. But I was just waiting for something to happen because again, like I said in our prediction show, I'm waiting for classic Triple H. The little signature comes up on the screen, and then something happens. But nothing happened.
Yeah, it was just no big swerve. No Money in the Bank cash in, which I thought was going to happen.
Yeah,
it almost happened, but it would have been nice. I thought it would have been a crazy turn of it if you said like one of the belts is on the line and all 10 women can compete and whoever hits pinfall wins the belt. Like that would be an anarchy type thing. It would basically have been like a crazy elimination chamber type deal. But yeah,
I just was waiting for something. And then nothing happened. And they all do their cute little pose. And like CM Punk does his little sleepy sleep. But I don't know. I was waiting for something.
Yeah. I thought there was going to be a little bit more to it. But I don't know. There's probably going to be, again, just like Royal Rumble, the big 4 PLEs, there's going to be a big Raw afterwards. So I anticipate maybe some of the turns, like New Day's 10-year anniversary is tomorrow. So like, even though that wasn't the card, so maybe some of the stuff they're trying to save for that. So, so my other questions are this is.
Yeah, Lee, sorry. I really wanted to hit those points before we brought this up.
I hear you. I'll get your spots in, as we like to say. Oh, come on. That was a good one. But what my question is, what is CM Punk's favorite?
So this is what I'm thinking. So they basically have Reed kind of as like a hired gun. Like we talked about how he first came in with the Miz and Miz was paying him to do stuff. I think they, he's not part of the new bloodline. They just kind of hired him because he's that big mercenary. What happens in Punk feuding with Seth? Again, you have Reed out a little bit. Punk can't get the best of Seth. Hire Reed, come back, tsunami the crap out of him. So like he's gonna need a favor from Paul, and Paul will pull the strings to make whatever Punk needs happen. And again, everyone talks about like the Shield debuted at Survivor Series to save CM Punk. Maybe he needs someone else to take out a guy that he once hired to save him.
It's an interesting little wrinkle in their 10-year plus storyline or whatever it is. Yeah, I to me, I don't know that Heyman's the type of guy, because here's why I don't necessarily agree with it, because if Heyman could get anybody to do his bidding, then after he got his ass powerbomb through a table, he would have came back with a whole team of people and been like, all right, so far, like, why wouldn't you come back? At least, like, if you had so many Paul Heyman guys, right? So that foils a little bit of that.
I think Paul Heyman is a mastermind, and he's not going to come. He's like a snake in the grass, or like a whatever. He's going to lull you into this false insecurity, and then come back when it's needed. Again,
to me, it's a
Roman
title
had to
shot.
be at the lowest. For who?
For Punk. Punk wants to get a title shot. So if he can negotiate it with Adam Pearce for him on his behalf, I think
that'd be lame. I don't think Punk needs Heyman to get a title shot. It's the same with Nakamura.
I think it's just going to be more of a.
Punk, he can get a title shot whenever he wants.
So Nikki thinks the favor is going to be to turn Punk heel, basically.
I think so.
And
again, why is he never? I don't remember him. I think I brought this up the other day. I don't remember Paul Heyman always being like this. This is a Jacob thing. This is a new thing. His outfit on Monday was, or last 2 Fridays ago, whenever.
I think he did do that though with Roman.
I don't think so though. He was always
holding the belt.
He was always holding the belt.
So he could have been trying to do this, but he had a belt to hold, so he couldn't really do it.
I don't know. I think there's something in the water.
Or he could have been trying to do, because he had the belt, maybe he was trying to do the YMCA.
Goal. I don't know, but he would put up the one. He would hold the belt. It was never a this.
All right.
Correct me if I'm wrong down below, but this feels new and different, and there's something into it. I think there's.
So that brings me into my next question without hitting anything.
Puncher shells.
What is next for the new bloodline?
I feel like this Solo is going to say something and be like, well, I still have the Ulafala.
Yeah, like is it Roman goes after Solo for the Ulafala, and that's the next play? Is it?
I think so.
Or do they regroup? Like how does the new bloodline regroup and go from here? Because you have Jacob who's going to be a megastar if they just give him the ability to be on his own. So is this group going to have now like cracks in the foundations? We talked about The Rock being in the storyline. Does The Rock somehow come back to pull the strings as the wise man for the new bloodline, because now Paul Heyman is the wise man for the old bloodline and is back?
Well, I think because now they're 1-1. Like Solo beat him at Crown Jewel, pinned him, and now Solo pinned him here. And you can say, well, you haven't pinned me 1-on-1.
Yeah.
I still have the Ulafala. Well, I'm still the tribal chief because I have this.
So is that Royal Rumble? Are you saying Royal Rumble?
I think so. I don't see Roman being in the Rumble match itself.
Yeah. I mean,
I think we have too much bad juju with Roman in the.
It would be nice to see Roman go after Solo, and then look like he's about he conquers Solo for the Ulafala, and then The Rock shows up to set up WrestleMania. Rock Roman. He thinks he's there, and it's just like almost like Money in the Bank. Like, oh, nope, you're not, and that's that. Mm-hmm. I could totally. See that happening. But the other thing is, what's next for the OG bloodline?
Same thing.
You think that they're going to be
do
together, or they're going to go off on their own? Is this it for them, or
I don't think this is a one and done. I think do you have Jay and Jimmy get back together and go after tag gold again?
I'd almost rather see Jay and Sammy.
True.
Like, yeah, I just think that they have like just as much chemistry and it's something different, and like it doesn't really kill it. Like, if you want to break them up in 6 months after a run, you could make the mid-card title, or dare I even say, you could find a way to make the world heavyweight title around that feud, and both those guys deserving. You want to make a megastar out of either of them? There you go. There's a main event. There's a main event opportunities. You put them in a tag team together, let them win the tag team titles, let one of them be a face that goes off and wins the world title, probably Jay. I think it's, I mean, because they're both super over, but I think Jay, I would say Jay, because all the Elite stuff seems more over than Sami Zayn. And that's that. I don't know.
I think you're putting way too many people in the Gunther's title scene right now.
No, I'm not. Because Gunther's a ring general. He should be able to fight everybody, and every wrestler should come after him. Yeah, turn it off. Just turn it off. Too hot. We got the fireplace on over here.
I was trying to wait till you got to call, but my back is melting.
It's the holiday. Well, we are. Well, on that note, we are getting the calls. Let me just get comments. Steven's got one comment. Yeah. Sometimes the best swerve is no swerve at all when everyone's expecting one. Oh,
it's like a proverb. So wise above your ears.
I know.
Dad.
He got that from a fortune cookie. Let's be honest.
See, we're eating Chinese food tonight.
Well, let's get it started. We're in the 7 o'clock hour. Let's hit it. If I could find it, because I have too many drops now. There we go. Phone lines are open. If you want to call in, let us know what you're drinking, what you're thinking, what you thought about WWE Survivor Series. The call-in link is below. It's all the way at the bottom. Huh? You just click in, fill in your name. Make sure you mute YouTube and all that stuff on a different tab. And then you come in and you'll be in the live backstage area and we'll pull you in. That being said, Nikki, let's hit it and get started.
Hit it real quick.
All right, Nikki.
Yes.
We've got a new regular now on the show.
Yeah, making new friends.
Let's bring him in fresh off. I believe, if I recall correctly, it was a karaoke. It was a whole big party scene.
I know you were having a fun shindig.
So let's bring him in. Friend of the show, new regular to the show, Josh, the voice. Josh, welcome in.
Hey.
How goes it, guys? How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, you guys were right. We did have a big party. There was a karaoke. There was a bunch of live events. We gave away so many things. The WWE title, Kurt Angle autograph stuff, Shane Douglas autograph stuff. It was a lot of stuff. A lot of the community really came out for that and gave out, like, a lot of businesses gave gift certificates for their services. We had a photography company, a couple bars around there, some food places. So it was spectacular.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah, thank you.
I know you inspired us. You've inspired us.
I know. Nick's like, why don't we do something like that?
Oh, it's fun. I'm telling you, it's a good time, and it's a good time to get your fans out in front of you and see their reactions to what you say. Because we had a whole 2-hour podcast in front of them. We gave our predictions for this amazing Survivor Games. You guys hit a lot of good points too. I liked what both of you were saying. You're both dragging me in a couple opposite directions on some things, but it makes a lot of sense what you're saying. So I'm enjoying that.
Yeah. So what did you think of the show, and like, what are your thoughts on the booking of it?
Okay, so the whole show overall, I thought was a great show. I thought this Survivor Series, I'm a huge fan of the original Survivor Series, of how the eliminations, the teams, all that. I love that stuff. That was fantastic. But the War Games, the addition of the 2 rings and the cage, that's where I'm at. That gets my ECW blood going. That makes me want to see exactly what we've seen.
Josh, before you, I had a question for you, because you brought it up and you kind of sparked the old school Survivor Series and if I recall correctly, it was always like a couple of the early ones, the actual sole survivors were in a match at the end, if I recall that correctly. And it was like, there was like one, and I love that theme. And like, I don't know, do you feel the same way about that? I always love that idea of like, it was kind of like a King of the Ring type deal with Survivor Series.
Exactly. And I did love that. Because like before our event on Saturday, we had on the old Survivor Series, and it was just Survivor Series matches. So we got to see a lot of the Ultimate Warrior teams, and just the whole hyping up that Ultimate Warrior used to do before those matches. I missed that. I did like what they did with like the college football feel at the beginning. I thought that was a cool technique, and plus you're blending in football fans and things like that. So that's like real smart production value.
Well, if you recall, the XFL did the whole behind the quarterback view. That was an XFL theme that the NFL ended up taking. So like a lot. That's kind of what we were talking about earlier. Is like the production has just been the last. All right, Nikki's going to argue 10 years, whatever. I'd say the last 15, 20 years has been like exponentially crazy. And like that sports entertainment element of like, yeah, the introduction. I love that. And I was going to be so pissed off if they did a Chicago Bulls entrance for these guys for WarGames, because I was thinking about doing it as a preview and I didn't. And I was like, if they do this and I didn't do it, I'm never going to let anyone hear the end of it. But luckily.
Yeah, I loved it. And I didn't know about that XFL thing. To be honest, I didn't watch the XFL. I thought,
no one did.
No one did. That's why they're not anywhere near. Yeah. But yeah, the like you said, the 20 years, I can see where you're coming from in there, but I can also see where Nikki's coming from with it being 10 years, because that's when it truly shined. Like that's when it really picked up, and it was really noticeable with the production value, the storylines. And I mean, we have the Bloodline storyline that's been going on forever. And it doesn't seem to be anywhere near being done. But with your guys' talking about The Rock coming back, and for what you were saying, what's next for the new Bloodline, I think that would be the way to go, because we all know that we're going to have Rock versus Roman at some point, and I really hope it is Mania, but I'm not sure if it's going to be this Mania. I mean, it might be a swerve, but I've been trying to keep up on that story of The Rock won't be available for Mania.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm not finding what movie he signed up for or any of that. So it could be a giant swerve, and we still get it.
Yeah, they're saying he's still out promoting the Christmas movie Red 1 in April. Yeah. That's why he can't make it.
Yeah.
The DVD release of Red 1 comes out in April, so he will not make it.
I don't know if you take The Rock for that.
I'm just worried pushing it off another year. Like, Rock is already getting up there. And yeah, he's in, and I think that's the difference, because Jimmy Fallon kind of shit on him. He's like, I'm not in shape. And Jimmy Fallon was like, what? And it's very different being in shape and then like in ring shape.
Great point.
I don't really necessarily want to put it back another year, because when he was getting ready for this year, he actually had the Gallus from NXT, Mark and Joe Coffey and Wolfgang go and train with him. So like, I don't know if any NXT kids are missing that did help train The Rock. I'm just worried about them pushing it off another year. Like, storyline, could they? Absolutely.
No, that makes perfect sense, and you're 100% right. You know, being physically healthy and looking that way is totally different than ring ready. But I mean, come on, he's The Rock. It's in his bones. It's in his DNA.
I was a Triple H girl. No, he's not my guy.
You know, so I mean, yeah, I totally see your concerns on that. And like I said, this could be a whole swerve that they're just putting out there, because The Rock, love him or hate him, he's a draw. And he is your biggest jewel you can bring out at any moment, and people go nuts. I see grown men our age, Nick, crying when The Rock comes out. I got friends who cried the last time The Rock came out, and I laughed at him, you know. But that's neither here nor there.
No, but it's like he used it in the promo, but it's like you make wrestling is fun again, but like not because of The Rock, but he does make things more fun. Like, just again, he's electric. Like the way he comes out, his charisma just lights up the room, and that's just
Yeah.
the rub. And like that's why it's tough for me because I really want him to put over Cody because I think that would be one more notch in Cody's belt that would just cement him as a good, the top baby face.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I don't know how many more matches Rock's got, and this storyline, like to your point, you could spread it out and give Solo the WrestleMania match against Roman for the Ulafala. Like you could go that distance.
Yeah, and it is 2 nights,
Right?
So,
yeah, which
Roman could do too.
4 key matches, right? The opener and the closer. So,
But why not? I think there's a lot of possibilities, and that's what I love about Trips' WWE right now. They've given us so many avenues that people like us who have followed it for so long, we all can make pretty accurate predictions on things just watching it over the years. But for right now, what Trips is doing, I'm with you guys. They came back out. I mean, CM Punk was already at Gorilla by the time they all came back out. And that picture you guys threw up of them all posing with the ones and then CM Punk doing the go to sleep. If you look at Heyman, he is not looking at Roman. He is looking directly at CM Punk.
oh, we're on this one. Oh, did I pull him out?
Oh no.
Oh, sorry, Mike. There. Sorry about that, Josh.
Oh,
Here.
you're fine. But if you look at that, he's looking directly at CM Punk. He is not even looking at Roman.
Yeah. This is not a Roman thing to me.
And that's where I go with Nikki. That's where I go with Nikki. He has never put up the one for Roman. You've never seen it. You've only seen him pray. You've only seen him hold the title. You've only seen him shed a tear looking at Roman, never throwing up the one. I still think there's a
he's
huge
throwing up the
swerve
one
coming. I'm sorry.
He's definitely thrown up the ones before. I don't know, but the praying thing, I could feel that. That it's
He
a fair
doesn't
push,
do
and
it
he
as
always-
often. He
He's so
does
much
not
better
do it as often.
He's too busy holding those belts.
Yeah, so he's much better. Josh, great points. Before we let you go, where can everyone find you?
Oh, I'm over at In Your House. You can find us over pretty much anywhere. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, sometimes Twitter, but we kind of stay off of that there's a lot of stuff weird over there on Twitter. I do enjoy it, but it's weird. But yeah, tomorrow night is my big weekly show, Monday night, 7 p.m. It's the Raw preview where me, Kevin Calloway, and Grunmeister, we talk about wrestling. And Monday night, we get you ready for Monday Night Raw and make you the smartest kid in the sandbox.
Awesome. Well, great stuff. We'll catch you then on Monday night at 7. Well, Josh,
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
as always,
Yes, thank you.
you, sir, as we say here, are cut off at the bar. Nikki, new friends, new regulars. We love new regulars.
Making new friends.
All right. Well, are you ready for some
Speaking of
regular friends?
Speaking of friends.
Nikki, speaking of friends, we have a friend who's been on our show for a while now,
Oh, buddy.
at least once a month, comes in, offers some great expert opinions. He's from the Biconic Wrestling Podcast. He's known as Mikey there, but on our show, he's Magic Mikey.
Remember, take care of yourself, love one another, be iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story.
Okay, Magic Mikey, bringing the sex appeal.
I was not prepared for that. That was awesome.
Cheers.
Oh my goodness. Cheers. I was so caught off guard. Oh my goodness.
He's been talking about it. I have not seen it. I don't see any of our videos until he plays it, but he's like, Nick, wait, I got something for my wait till you see it. I can't wait for my beyond. You have to see this. So he's been super excited about playing this.
I've been trying to get the Shawn Michaels thrusting working. That took so much time, and I had to watch Shawn Michaels thrust so many times. I balanced it out with a little bit of Liv Morgan, so luckily it wasn't.
I appreciate the special intro. Thank you.
Well, we said it all along. The regulars come in, you get intros. Hey, wrestling is all about intros. Come on, entrances.
That is very, very true.
Mikey, what's up?
Oh, not much. Yeah, I got to collect my thoughts after that. No, I came in to kind of give my quick thoughts about the Survivor Series after. I have to say, I'm really enjoying the fact that Triple H is like, all right, we got 3 to 3.5 hours. Let's figure this out. And then y'all go. And I was not upset that I got to be done by like 6:30, 6:45 my time. So shout out to this era of pay-per-view starting at the mid-afternoon. So that way I have the rest of the evening to myself.
No, seriously, do you eat dinner then? Were you like around that PLA? You're like, all right, dinner time.
Yeah, I pretty much ate dinner once the show went off the air. I'm like, oh, look at that. It's actually dinner time. I'm going to go eat my dinner now that that's over. So okay, so this is going to get me in a lot of trouble. So I feel that for some reason Survivor Series split a lot of individuals in various camps of different things. Where I stand on it is I thought it was a solid show. I will admit that I got hosed in my predictions though. But 3 and 2 ain't bad. I want to talk about the one that I did not put on my bingo card though, but I'm hopefully, and I have trust issues with WWE when it comes to this. I did not have Shinsuke winning on my bingo card.
Seriously.
Same.
It lied to me. Just kidding.
Like, yeah, like that build up that no one knew about, or I don't want to say cared about. It's not.
So are you mad at it? Are you okay with it?
So-
Are you intrigued?
I will put this. I am a big Shinsuke Nakamura fan. I have been since he was the king of strong style in New Japan before coming over. Where I have trust issues is every time they do something with Shinsuke, I get hope, and then they don't do anything with it. And they've already taken my trust twice when it comes to doing right by Mr. Nakamura over here. I was surprised. I am happy that Shinsuke won. I just hope that they do something with him this time around, because listen, I'm a big anime and I'm a big anime fan, so this anime villain-esque Shinsuke Nakamura presentation is great. The entrance was really cool with the whole mask and the hat and everything on last night's show. Like that, the presentation I'm excited for. I just want WWE to do right by Shinsuke. That's all I'm asking.
Well, but I could argue this is doing right by him, to give him a 2-week build-up and give him a mid-card belt of a guy who's literally spent a year chasing this title, basically, and now has gotten a 2-month reign or 2.5-month reign that you thought was going to be a big, prestigious mid-card reign. So, I mean, I could play devil's avocado here, as Nikki likes to say, and say that they are supporting him to some extent. Now, what he'll do with the belt moving forward, who knows?
I will say, and me and the professor talked about this earlier today during our WWE recap show a little bit. With Shinsuke winning this title, it helped solve a lot of the issues that we were going to run in had LA Knight went over here, where within the last 100 and something odd amount of days of LA Knight's title reign, we would be bouncing back and forth between LA defending it against 3 people: Santos, Andrade, and Carmelo. And we kept going in a triangle formation at Crown Jewel. We had that triple threat. Yeah. And so as much as I enjoyed the series, I was getting a little worried. I'm like, okay, LA has kind of gone through, quote unquote, the mid card, if you will, because we don't want to keep using these 3. Shinsuke returns. Cool. He attacks LA Knight 3 weeks ago. And then again the following week has a match against Andrade this past Friday and missed LA Knight. And then he goes and heads and wins the United States Championship. I think we get a rematch at Saturday night's main event. I think we get a rematch between LA Knight and Shinsuke.
Do you think, I love this presentation. Do you think, I said this was it last week? I don't remember. Time flies when you're having fun. But if AJ Styles didn't get injured, would this have been AJ Styles' feud to have, not necessarily win the belt, but AJ Styles feud with LA Knight? I think that LA Knight would have continued along, and AJ Styles would have been a transitional challenger to make him look strong. And because AJ got hurt, they brought back Nakamura, and obviously they repackaged him and thought it was a great idea to do this.
So that's an interesting thing. I think. See, I could see AJ kind of being the one to face LA Knight after coming back, and then unfortunately he got hurt when he came back. I mean, it's been long enough because if I remember correctly, the last time LA and AJ fought each other was at WrestleMania this year. They had a WrestleMania match. Again, this is at least, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like they had that match at WrestleMania this year. There are so many things that happened at Mania that my brain might be remembering, but I feel
because then they had the back and LA Knight showed up to his house and then got arrested.
Oh, yeah,
there we go.
They did have the match, but why couldn't they run it back?
What I'm saying is they could because enough time has passed. I feel like, but because AJ got hurt, Shinsuke comes back. I think we run Shinsuke and LA at Saturday night's main event. And then we figure out what we want to do with Shinsuke and whoever he's going to end up facing. Because I think Shinsuke is holding this thing until Mania. Shinsuke is going to hold this thing until Mania. The problem is Shinsuke is the new champion, but that doesn't fix the problem of who his potential challengers are going to be because it's still...
Well, does that give you enough time to... I don't really love him, but give you some sort of build up to Carmelo. Andrade, I think Andrade is just not, unless he's a heel, Andrade's not going to do anything to me. He's a terrible face. He's terrible as a face. He's to me completely worthless as a face. And maybe Carmelo, you could say, could be a tweener. Maybe he's young enough that he's a tweener, I think, in a lot of ways. Could Carmelo, could that give you enough time? We're talking about April, so we're in December right now. Right? So that's a 5-month build. You could we're just talking about a guy who just won the belt 3-week build up.
I mean, Melo versus Shinsuke could be a good feud. Melo does solid work. Again, there's so many variables here. You also have, depending on what happens in our SmackDown Tag Team Championship scene, we don't know what's going to end up falling out from that. I'm not saying that teams need to break up, but even if it's a one-off, a Shinsuke versus Montez, a Shinsuke versus an Angelo Dawkins, the problem is right now it's Andrade, Santos, and Melo, who are currently sitting probably in the mid-card. I don't think they're going after Cody anytime soon. We also need to diversify what that mid-card looks like as well, because then we're going to run into the same problem. Darn it, AJ, why'd you have to get hurt?
I think if anything, it was during that match with Melo, and I thought Melo and AJ would have a program to build up Melo to have him maybe take the belt off LA. I thought AJ would be that springboard for him, but obviously we didn't get that. But again, I agree with you. I talk about this every week. I'm over the SmackDown mid card. It's the same 4 people, but again, I don't care about it at this point. You've done nothing to make me care about Escobar, and I think he's a great wrestler. He runs this faction that should be bigger than it is, and it's just not.
Yeah.
Well, I think what I'm holding up out for too is the report, according from what I could find. Don't quote me on this. I'm trying to get my resources as well. Because Triple H has gone on record saying he's going to be playing loose with the brand split until, Mania season is upon us, which makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't mind if we started to see stars kind of cross over. For example, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow night during the New Day anniversary? We might see Kofi and Xavier finally split and go do single stuff. Who's to say that Xavier could pop up on SmackDown and, go after it? Or even Kofi,
I want to see Woods I want to see him on a singles run, but I need him with a powerhouse Hobbs bodyguard that's gonna do the help him with a little bit of the heavy lifting, but he's just the brains and he's a great wrestler, so he's a benefactor from the stable. I think he's the one who didn't benefit from the New Day, and he should have benefited the most because he's the one who elevated all of them.
Well, I mean, again, because as somebody who covers NXT too, since Halloween Havoc, we have a certain Nigerian powerhouse who has not been on television for some time. So who knows? We might see a Oba Femi pop up tomorrow night, and that might be the heavy for Xavier.
So I'd be okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like, because we talked about this, like Oba Femi to me, like, probably unpopular opinion, I don't think he's gonna be a star. I have a feeling like he's just gonna be a big bust at the main roster level. I just feel like he's going to be mismanaged, and like from the little bit, and again, I don't cover NXT as much as you guys do. The little bit that I've seen from him doesn't like impress me. Like he's a big dude, he's athletic. To me, yeah, like it's a lot like maybe early Bobby Lashley. Like I don't see enough of him to be a star. So like yeah, like to your point, maybe that's the play. Is like yeah, you could put him with Woods for 6 months and get him some seasoning that way.
I think the rumor is he's supposed to be getting called up. And then also it's very, if you do put him with Woods, it's very kind of Big E-esque that he was NXT champion, came up and then was the heavy for Ziggy. Could it kind of be, and then have him go off? Because again, like, I get he's a powerhouse. I did like his North American run. I have feelings about him and Tony and that whole program together.
That was probably his weakest feud that he had with his NXT, North American run. Yeah.
Like, I think it was time for him to drop the belt and let's get him up to me. I'm thinking it's a Rumble. If he doesn't like do this Woods thing, I'm thinking Rumble. I lost my train of thought.
Oba Femi?
Yeah, no. No, I think if he doesn't do the Woods thing, I think he'll be debuting at the Royal Rumble, but I think he's gonna need some seasoning. I don't necessarily agree with you that he's gonna be a bust, but I don't think he's gonna be a breakout right away.
Right.
I think he's gonna need some seasoning. So maybe putting him with Woods for a little bit.
I would love him with Woods. I think he's gonna be Rumble. I think you're right. I think he's gonna be Rumble, and because they think he's gonna be a standalone star, and that's gonna be.
I'm just worried about it because like they called up Mello. It's not jiving. It's not fitting. I think he was better in NXT. Like Lyra, they called up, had her hot minute in the sun. Then that was last
right.
night. Could it be at the IC?
She should win it
bracket. But I just feel like the last couple call-ups haven't worked, which makes you think they would work because it's Triple H's baby. And why is Shawn and Triple H, things are not gelling?
Yeah, there seems to be such a disconnect, and if we're gonna take it even a step further too, I feel like the call-ups for SmackDown, I feel like SmackDown's done a worse job with the people that we have called up from NXT, because Melo's just hanging there, and I'm so mad because I know her work on the independent scene, and she kills it in NXT UK, and the little bit we got of her at NXT. I'm mad that we haven't done much with Blair Davenport either, and I love Blair to death.
She should be a bigger deal. Like, was she like maybe put her on Raw and have her run for that IC belt? Was she in the bracket and lost? I believe.
Yeah, because she lost. She was in the match. She was in the first round. It was her, Bayley, and Candice.
Yeah,
but no, I feel like
too much for me.
Like,
but then again, I didn't think
previously was huge in the UK scene and NXT UK, and then literally they changed her name into Jack.
I know. I don't know what's going on. There's a disconnect between Shawn and Triple H. I'm like, you guys used to run NXT Black and Gold together. How are we not figuring this out?
I don't know, but
it's crazy. It's crazy that it's crazy that NXT is doing more for their women's division than main roster. It's nuts.
I know.
Anyways,
well, Mikey, what else you got? Our last shot before we let you go.
Last shot, you will see my face in a matter of 2 or 3 hours because myself and 2 of my other hosts, we have a TNA pay-per-view that also transpired within the last 48 hours. So we are covering that tonight. And then Survivor Series review tomorrow, where it's going to get crazy. So yeah, but thank you so much for having me. I always enjoy coming on and I love talking wrestling with you too.
Lucky, it's always a pleasure. And that being said, we're going to cut you off, but we're going to send you out the right way. With your outro. The only way Mikey can go out is with an outro. So let's bring it up. Magic Mikey. He likes it.
Boys, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, be iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story.
He finished his story. We're happy. You always deserve to finish your story. That's why I like that line, Mikey. It's a good closing line. We just stole ours from Semisonic.
Yeah. Well, we're bar themed. He's more inspirational. More inspirational, deep themed. We just like drinking and talking shit about wrestling.
Well, that's fair. Nikki?
Yes, dear.
One more on the line. One more regular on the line.
Are
you ready?
Always.
Wait, hold on.
No.
I gotta find it. Oh, man. There we go.
Say his name and he appears.
I believe in Steven.
Steve! Bop, bop, bada, boop.
I'm a scat man. I'm a scat
Steven!
Happy Friday again, everybody. It seemed like it just flew by.
It did. Steve, what do you think? What are you drinking on this Sunday fun day evening?
I'm drinking in a fantasy loss right now, but we'll get to that later.
Well, join the club.
All right. So CM Punk's favor. I have a feeling it's going to be tied into one of getting into one of the main events at Mania.
That's kind of my thinking.
That makes more. You said title shot, and I said he doesn't need a title
I
shot.
think you need
But a main event, I think, Steve, you have a little more legs to stand on.
A little more like what? Say that again.
legs to stand on.
Legs to stand on.
Oh, yeah, like some backup.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense because, again, Nick said he just needs Heyman for a title shot. I was like, he doesn't need Heyman for that. He's CM Punk. But to get into the main event of WrestleMania, maybe he needs more clout. That's why you need Paul.
Mm.
I could see there maybe because I was thinking of this. Okay, if Roman and Solo start having matches for the possession of the whatever that thing is called, the let's just say the necklace.
Hula fella.
Sure. Kazoon hype.
Acknowledge me.
Okay, so let's say Roman wins.
Roman Reigns by not knowing it, Steven.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't do my homework. But I mean, all right, let's say Roman wins that. Okay. Then where do you go from there? If you're not keeping the original bloodline together, well, then what is he the tribal chief of? Exactly.
The Hula Paul. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, like who's the group?
Yeah, or is the match for is that a match between him and Punk for leadership of the group? Like maybe instead of for the belt, or having your world champion be the main event on I guess that would be night one. That would be the match is Punk and Roman for, and then the group has turned on Roman and started to follow Punk somewhere along the line. I mean, I'm just trying to think of, because like you were saying, where do you go with the other members of the OG bloodline? Like, what do you do? How do you continue?
It's not a crazy take.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use a crazy drop though.
And then how do you get Punk in his main event that he was supposed to have this past year with Seth? I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that you can go with that. I don't know. It's a mystery, but I think this is the beginning of a few months, another branch off storyline regarding the bloodline. And as far as Solo's bloodline, I don't know. I could see maybe Fatu starting to challenge for titles. Jacob Fatu, rather.
Yeah, he should.
If you're gonna have Roman Punk match, I want it for the custody of Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman on a pole match.
Yeah, put him up
Him in
like
a Shark Tank.
Judy Bagwell on a forklift.
Oh God.
Like
I didn't think Roman Punk.
Yeah. But I honestly don't see two different bloodline groups continuing for much longer. I mean, I think one of them's going to have to be split up. Excuse me.
So, well, that brings up the question of like, again, like what we talked about earlier, like what's next? Because like, could it be like you have what they're going to call Talatonga, Hikuleo, still waiting in the wings. Apparently, Lance Noy has been signed. Rumor. So, like, well, I don't know. Rumor. I think he has.
No, how did you say it?
Rumor.
No, Inoahi.
Annoy. Oh, annoy. I'm a little annoyed.
You call out my speech impediment every week, so I have to give it back, babe.
Whatever.
Oh, you can dish it out, but can't take it.
No, I'm not even gonna do drop. But like you have those different, like the idea is to build the next like more stars, right? Like so, like if there's just I keep saying this, and I'm gonna like a beat on it like a dead drum or whatever, dead horse, whatever they call it. The analogy is, but like. I think it's just like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's how WWE views the Bloodline saga. There's going to be more relatives because everyone's having kids, and everyone has like 16 kids. So like we'll just keep bringing them in, and then like again, there's another derivative. Oh, I'm the cousin or the other brother of whoever, and this is why I'm here. And like that's I think the next iteration. Like the more I think about it. Now, after WarGames is now complete and the booking's done, I could totally see Jacob becoming a face because he's phenomenal in the ring. Everything he's done, right? Every time Jacob has been eliminated from something, it's been because he's hurt himself. Because he's done like a splash through a table that everyone's like, oh my God, this guy's nuts. He's done a moonsault, right? Hurt his leg in the last WarGame. So like all that stuff is like baby face type stuff because it always used to happen like Roman Reigns got booked like that.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the logical transition is the enforcer who's the real badass of the group takes over. And then like it basically takes over because everyone respects him. They know like he doesn't take over, but they know that he's the strongest one of the group. And Solo gets jealous of that and brings in another enforcer to replace him. And who better than Hikuleo, who's 7 foot tall and fills that role.
And you can't teach that.
You can't teach it.
Can't teach it.
There's just an endless supply of Anois.
Seriously.
Must catch them all. But then, and then if Roman and Punk is your main event on one of the Mania nights, what do you do with Punk's storyline that he was starting to have with Seth? Do you just forget? I mean, is that so long in the rearview mirror now that you just forget, or do you try to revisit that maybe after Mania?
I think you can kind of always visit it because now you have more layers to it because of this reason. Actually, I got a tinfoil hat caller of the show, Javier, thought that Rollins was going to turn on everybody. Didn't happen, but because Punk took his spot. Granted, he doesn't care about Roman Reigns, but maybe that's just another arrow in the quill. Is that the word? Quiver, whatever. Of his story of like why I hate CM Punk. Like hey, you took another spot that's rightfully mine. It wasn't your spot to take.
Right. That's what I suggested was going to happen post Survivor Series, but now it really. Really looks like they're shaping up something with Roman and Heyman. And then how does Seth get involved in that unless you make it a tag match? And then the other main event would be, Cody and Rock, because Rock's going to be in one of those main events.
Yeah. I mean, if you really there'd be a lot. Could you do 2 nights of Bloodline storyline? I guess you did do it already. Yeah, for 3 years. I mean, but it'd be. I mean, if it's good enough story, I'm not. I don't hate if the story's there and it's Cody Rock on one of the angles, and then the Ulafala is on the line, which wouldn't make 100% sense actually.
Yeah. if the audience isn't weary enough of it, and you think you can still get it's just December now, and if you think you can still get 4.5 more months out of it, then great, continue. But I mean, eventually that day is going to come.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But I think I don't want necessarily the same storyline on both shows, but you can kind of set up as the KO figure, how KO was yelling at Cody, I was fighting them for forever, and I was fighting with you, and then 2 months later, then you're tag teaming with them. Seth can kind of say the same thing. I was not in that match because I didn't want to support Roman Reigns, and then you put yourself in that match. You're no better than whoever, and that can lead to Seth Punk as well.
That's fair.
Or maybe triple threat. CM Punk can be I bought you into this company. I can take you out.
Yeah,
he was his mercenaries when they debuted in Survivor Series 2012.
I know. There's a lot of stories going in, so it could be a number of different things. Steve, before we let you go, what's your last shot here?
Okay, Shinsuke as the U.S. champion. If they're going to continue with him for a while instead of like it was suggested from, I forget which of the other callers suggested it, LA Knight just winning it back at Saturday night's main event. If they're going to continue with Nakamura as champion, at least for the foreseeable future, then how long is AJ going to be out still? Because what I would like to see, I would like there to be another crack at AJ versus Nakamura to at least recreate as best as they can the quality level of their big match that they had in Japan, that big 40-minute epic match, and not what they ended up having at Mania. That was so. And I think, and if there's really nobody other than LA Knight having rematches that Nakamura could take on, I don't think they're going to put Randy Orton in that program, for example. I see that as a pretty good way to go. And I think they can both still deliver that, because how long ago was that match? That was not that long before AJ joined WWE.
Was that Oh, you mean their New Japan match? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, the New Japan match. Yeah.
Yeah, that one I don't know. I think their WWE match was pandemic wide. It was 2020.
No, that was out of Arena.
Oh, was it?
No. The one where Shinsuke turned and punched him in the nuts.
Yeah, and I said before, it was dick shot after dick shot. I don't care. Again, they had this classic at Wrestle Kingdom, and then everyone wanted to have that and see that, and then all they did was punch each other in the dick. That's not what I want to see. You're AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura that has this legendary match. I don't want to see punch each other in the dick.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's people who pay good money to see dick punches for 20 minutes, but I don't think you can fill up a football stadium with them. So
maybe
we shall see. But that's if AJ is going to be back anytime soon, that is the program I would like to see. To make good on from what they did a few years back.
Yeah.
No, fair point. Fair point. Well, Steve, it is a pleasure, as always. You sir.
Adios, everybody.
Cheers. You sir are cut off.
Damn it!
That's a great call. That was a great call. We always appreciate great calls.
He's a real ring-a-ding-dong dandy. Thanks, guys.
I feel like you only play that after Steven.
No, not really. I got a
David,
bunch
I
of
want your thoughts and comments on this down below.
Oh,
I think the only place is after you.
unbelievable. Well, let's get
You
through
didn't
some
put
more.
it for Josh or Mikey.
Mikey got his own intro. He got his own intro and outro. Yeah, he has his intro and then the other outro. Steven is an extra regular because he's been here since the start.
I know. He's our OG
regular.
Bloodline.
Yeah, seriously. Throw him up the ones. Hold on. Let's get that
So
up.
Acknowledge me.
Yeah, what would Steven think?
I don't want to get into that. That's a very fishy. That's a trap question. And I don't answer trap questions. My agent will be in touch. Unbelievable.
Steven! We love him. Eventually.
Well, that being said, it's been a fun one.
Always.
It was a fun Survivor Series.
WarGames.
No, I'm not gonna do it. Can't find it.
You have too many drops.
I have too many. It can't get through.
Out of control over there.
But it definitely was a fun one. And we appreciate you all for joining us here on this Sunday evening happy hour special edition Survivor Series. We survived Survivor Series.
We did. Look at that.
So if you're new, hit the like and subscribe. We didn't say that enough. You have to say it every like 10 minutes or else YouTube gets mad at you or something.
Probably.
Yeah. Praise be to he, YouTube gods.
Maybe Paul Heyman. Please, YouTube guys. Please.
But it is closing time. Hold on.
Oh, play the thing.
Great show. Oh, thanks, Jeff.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks to our newest regular, Josh. Become a regular. We're trying to get subscribers. Keep the subscriber count up. We just exceeded 300. This is not Sparta. This is the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour, but we exceeded 300. So we're very excited about that. We're setting our sights at 500 for the new year. Yeah, we're going high, at least high for our standards. But that being said, it is closing time. So let's give it to a more eloquent speaker than ourselves. Let's give it to Paul Triple H Beck. A little closing time.
Thought we had a spectacular event tonight. Very excited that so far everybody seems to have come out unscathed. You know, banged up, bumps and bruises, but nobody seriously injured, which I always hold my breath on these events. You want to see people have the best outing that they can possibly have and make memories, but do it safely. And we were able to do that tonight.
We were able to do that tonight. Nikki, it's like a good 10 plus shows without incident, so I'm very proud of you.
It is. We're doing so good.
Seriously. Well, that being said, let's end it the only way we know how to. Because we love covers. Let's cover it our own way. You do not have to go home.
But you can stay here. Bye.